It is finally here. It's the month of scares, the month of horror, the month of tricks and or treating that may lead to an abduction of one or more children. But most of all, it is the month of spooky. Why is that, you may ask? Well, this is because it is the month of Halloween, which is the greatest holiday ever invented. It has no cultural importance in my home country of Australia. So I thought I would bring Halloween to me and make a cheeky little video about one shape of a man who was the main protagonist of a long-running horror movie franchise and the ventures he took away from the big screen. I will be talking about the several appearances Michael Myers has made in video games. For his first appearance, we must go way back to 1983, so we can catch a glimpse at the first Halloween game released on the Atari 2600 and based on the original film. Well, based is a loose term in this instance. You see, the box of the game has the iconic Halloween artwork, you know, the one of the pumpkin that turns into a knife, and the game features the iconic main theme created by John Carpenter, you know, this one. Alright, that's enough, I don't want copyright strikes. So on all intents and purposes, this looks and sounds like a Halloween game. But Halloween on the Atari 2600 never refers to any of the characters or even Michael Myers by their names. Which is strange considering the series' iconography is everywhere. In fact, in an effort to save money, most versions of the game do not have a label on the cartridge. Instead, someone just grabbed a marker and wrote Halloween on a white sticker with a black Sharpie. So if you just got a blank card of this game and the start screen did not display properly, and please just humor me in my stupid fucking scenario for 1 second, you would think you were playing an 8-bit game where you just run around saving children and dodging the killer. Speaking of the gameplay, you play as a babysitter who runs around, tries to save kids while dodging a killer wielding a knife. If the player brings a kid to a safe room located at both ends of each floor of the house, they will earn points. Another way to get those sweet babysitter points is to stab not Michael Myers with a knife. A level is completed when the player either rescues 5 children or stabs not Michael Myers twice. The difficulty increases in each level via not Michael Myers snorting some cocaine and running really fast. The player will get a game over screen if they lose all 3 of their lives. It is a pretty simple game that didn't break any ground, especially at the time, but it was the first time players got to see Michael Myers in a video game, and it honestly wouldn't be the last. I was initially going to stick to only officially published titles, because if I went into mods or fan games, this video would become way too long. But when I found this next title, I knew I had to write words that form into sentences about it. Terrordrome Rise of the Boogeyman is a fan-made fighting game that features iconic horror movie characters such as my boy Jason Voorhees, Mr. Only the First Movie is Good Freddy Krueger, Leatherface, Ash Williams, Candyman, and Michael Myers. The game includes 3 different modes: story, arcade, and training. The story mode follows the framework of other fighting games, that being the character you pick has a short story focusing on them, and as the player beats up more people, they get some more story. Arcade mode is fighting without the story, and training is training. You get the idea. The game also contains levels based on locations from each of the fighters' respective movies, so again, that is the shit I kinda like. I won't go into crazy detail about all of the other characters and features of the game because you know I'm going to review this at some point. So let us just stick with Mr. Myers for now. Terrordrome is a fan-made game with a lot of love for the characters, and that can be shown by how Michael plays within the game. Mr. Myers can't run because he never runs in the movies. His face is never shown because he likes his privacy, and his weapon of choice is the butcher knife. Some of his moves are directly pulled from iconic kills in the Halloween movies. So if you wanted to reenact your favorite serial killer's best kills, this is the game for you. Michael's story is also pretty cool. Since Michael isn't known for his conversation skills, he hears voices in his head throughout his story mode. His story begins with the many evil voices in his head being silenced by another louder one. It tells Michael he has a job to do. That job being killing, of course. The only reason he actually wears the mechanic's outfit after all is for a fashion aesthetic. He has never been one for paying the tax man. After Michael kills nearly every horror movie antagonist, he faces up against the tall man from Phantasm, the movie with this scene in it. After he kills the tall man, the voice congratulates him. "Very good, Mikey, very good," the voice said. "Derry was safe now. Tall man's threat was no more." Wait, Derry. Yes, that Derry. The voice Michael hears is none other than Pennywise the Clown from It. After that little reveal, Mr. Wise the Clown tells Michael there is something else that he needs to do, something he will love, which kind of hints that he will be able to kill his lovely sister, Laurie Strode. Well, he's now not sister thanks to the new movie. I never thought I would see Michael in a fighting game, let alone a fighting game based on iconic horror villains, so I'm pretty blown away that this even actually exists. So watch out for my review of this beautifully stupid game whenever I can actually be bothered to do it. Alright. Alright, moving on. In an appearance that came completely out of nowhere because it doesn't fit the game he appeared in, Michael Myers made his way into Call of Duty Ghosts. His inclusion was as a field reward on the DLC map Fog. Field rewards are special assignments which appear as blue suitcases after the first death of a match. The player who picks up the field reward must complete a random assignment or challenge. If the player completes this on the Fog map, they will become Michael Myers. And that explanatory paragraph was in no way ripped from the Call of Duty Wikipedia page. His inclusion in Ghost is a cool idea, I guess, but they don't really stick true to the character. Mainly because this is a Call of Duty game and the franchise's gameplay is notoriously fast. Michael can actually run in this game. In fact, he can run 10 to 15% faster than other field reward characters. It seems like he hasn't kicked his cocaine habit from the Atari game. He also wields an axe instead of his iconic kitchen knife, which doesn't really make any sense because Call of Duty has knives in it. Michael's health also regenerates slightly with every kill, which I guess kind of plays into the fact that he seems to be unkillable. And while he is running around the map, the Halloween movie theme will play, which is pretty fun. And that is really about it. Michael's inclusion is a neat little DLC bonus, but it doesn't really channel the character, but instead molds him into more appropriately fitting the framework of Call of Duty. Luckily, the last game on my list understands the monstrosity that is Michael Myers. You all knew this was coming. Michael's appearance as a playable killer in Dead by Daylight is his most notable venture into video games. Dead by Daylight is an asymmetrical multiplayer game where a group of survivors must turn on generators and escape an area while being stalked by a killer who each wield unique weapons and abilities. He was introduced as a killer of DLC Chapter 2, The Halloween, on October 25th, 2016, which also featured Laurie Strode as a playable survivor and Haddonfield as a playable map. Killers in Dead by Daylight have a long list of abilities that I'm not going to go into because look at this. So I will just talk about the features of the character that really channel the essence of Michael. Firstly, he is actually wielding a kitchen knife. Hurrah! Secondly, each of his perks are focused around obsession, which was included because Michael is both obsessed with killing in general, and I mean who isn't, and that once he becomes locked onto his next victim in the movies, he becomes obsessed with stabbing them in numerous ways. When a survivor is stalked in specific circumstances, that survivor will hear music. That music is the theme which plays when Laurie Strode is being stalked by her brother, not brother, in the films. One of his obsession abilities that mirror his film character is play with your food. You know in the Halloween movies where a character continuously gets away from Michael before being killed? Well, in Dead by Daylight, if Michael deliberately lets a survivor go, he will receive a token that increases his speed amongst other things, which encourages players to truly hone into the personality of Michael Myers. His special ability, known as Evil Within, Evil Within, allows Michael to highlight any survivor he is stalking, making it easy to track them down, and Michael can stalk more than one survivor at a time. Again, this channels into Michael's natural ability to always know where his victims are in the films. Out of all the games on this list, playing Michael in Dead by Daylight is the closest the player will actually feel as though they are the Shape. Which if that is something you want to do in your life, go right ahead, just don't blame me when the cops come. The inclusion of Laurie Strode in the Haddonfield map are just the icing on the serial killer cake. If you're looking for the best Michael Myers gaming experience, grab Dead by Daylight and the Halloween DLC. At least get it on PC. Finding a game on PS4 in 2019 is more of a nightmare than talking to your psychologist about your absent father issues. And that is it for Michael Myers' appearance in horror games. Honestly, considering how iconic the character is, I thought he would be in more. And maybe I missed some. I did write this video while I was in hospital under heavy medication, so let me know if there are any notable exclusions and I might make a second video if there are enough. If you like this video and want more horror content, make sure to like and subscribe. Also, if you're one of those filthy Twitch users, go and follow me on Twitch at Sunderland Spook. I stream horror games as often as I can and sometimes stream games I'm currently reviewing. So if you want me in every facet of your life, just do those things. And also follow me on Twitter. Links to all my stuff in the description. Goodbye and happy Halloween.